Hey, Zay, what you cooking, bruh?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ins and Out D podcast. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitter. We are live on YouTube. It is your favorite crew. What up, everybody? And Caleb, it is a nice Tuesday. I mean, a very nice Tuesday.
It is. It's cold down here. I know it's cold up there.
They're talking about snow.
I heard they're supposed to have snow. They're supposed to have snow down here, but guess not. It is cold. It is cold.
It's definitely cold. Around the southern part of the United States, but we about to go ahead and get started. We already got people coming in, tap in with us tonight. Click like, subscribe to the channel, like to the episodes and stuff. What up, Mitch? What's good with everybody? So before we get started on our commander stuff, wanted to recap a little bit with the playoffs this weekend. So, you know, the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship, you're going to have the Patriots taking on the Denver Broncos without Bo Nix. Hate that he got injured in that game, but you also have the Rams taking on the Seattle Seahawks, who, I mean, like, they just look so vicious, especially on that defensive side of the ball. What are your thoughts on these two matchups this upcoming Sunday?
I already got my winners, brother, for both games. But it's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a good game. That Seahawks and Rams game is gonna be really good. That's gonna be really good.
I'm actually glad that is the 6:30 game, because if they had tried to put that game at like 3:30, I would have felt like it was a disjustice. Like, that was this perfect Matthew Stafford on the road, 12th man against that defense, and Sam Darnold and crew. It's gonna be a great matchup. I'm really excited for that game.
It is.
Of course, we know with the Broncos, they still have the defense. Jarrett Stidham will get the start, but they're going to be taking on New England Patriots. So, you know, I think we're kind of like, we're going to say Patriots in Seattle in the Super Bowl, right?
That's what I got.
Okay, that's what I got too. So y'all heard it for us first. We have the Patriots and the Seahawks. It's going to be Patriots and Seahawks Part 2 in the Super Bowl. So that's what we're thinking. That's what we're feeling this week. But let's go ahead and get to the commander related stuff, man. Shout out to Radar tapping in with us. My GOAT Sam about to get a ring. Yeah, that'll be absolutely insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah, Denver could win the game.
Jarrett Stidham.
First, we haven't really seen him play maybe outside. When the last time he played? Like 24 when he was a starter?
Yeah, I just trust Vrabel can.
I think Bo really provides much more than what people like tend to joke on him for. Like, Bo is a very mobile quarterback. And as good as their offensive line is, with his mobility, he provides some ways to get out of the pocket and make plays. I can't say the same thing for Jarrett Stidham. Now, I do think Jarrett might have a little bit stronger arm, but Mike Vrabel and his crew, they're going to probably have some things conjured up on Sunday. But it could be a low scoring game. Could be, Patriots come in and dominate. But we'll see how those matchups go. But let's go ahead and get to the Commander stuff. So we're already in what is this like the third or fourth week of January,
Yeah.
and we see the offensive staff um getting assembled. Uh, with David Blau, they have promoted Stapleton and Tobe as the offensive line coaches. They hired DJ Williams, we talked about last week, as the quarterback coach. So from what we've seen from the offensive staff is starting to get themselves together. But this episode, like we're going to be talking strictly, I mean, mainly strictly on the defensive side because that is still the position that needs to be quite figured out. And with the breaking news the other day that Sean McDermott is now out of Buffalo. So there's 10 positions in terms of head coaching spots that are out there. The couple has gotten filled along the way. The Giants got John Harbaugh. Um, who else got hired? Robert Saleh is now leaving the 49ers to coach on Tennessee Titans. A lot of people question that, but I actually think that's a good move for him. Young quarterback, a team, they already top five. They got money, so he can build that team to his liking. And in fairness, when he went the Jets, bro, they didn't have the quarterback, and potentially he could have that quarterback position solved already with the Tennessee Titans. Just bring his defensive philosophy over there, and I think they'll be making noise in the AFC South. I'm trying to think, Caleb, who else got hired?
Giants, Harbaugh.
Well, we said Harbaugh. I mean,
Oh, we did. Oh,
Stefanski. Stefanski
for the
is
Falcons.
for the Falcons. Yes, he's the head coach for the Falcons. I'm trying to think. Somebody else just got hired.
Oh, Lions hired.
Drew Preston.
Yeah, that's bad.
I see a lot of people mix about that.
I don't.
I don't really. I don't. I'll say this from my perspective, and I obviously I'm not a. Obviously, I am not a Cardinals fan, so I don't know how entirely the Arizona Cardinal fan base truly feel about him. But I did feel a difference with that offense a little bit this past year when Clayton Adams left to become the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. I think they actually miss him. And I also think I do think the offense was a little bit more functional when they had Jacoby Brissett in as starter. But he's a backup for a reason, and the offense can't sputter, and it wasn't fully healthy. So I mean, he's not going to be the main play caller in Detroit anyway. It's still going to be Dan Campbell.
I've seen mixed reviews on him. I've seen some Cardinals fans say they don't like him. I've seen some. I mainly see bad things about him. So.
We're going to answer that question too, Radar. Yeah, okay, that's fair. They did.
Yeah.
For Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, which is insane.
But is Mike McDaniels looking for a head coaching job?
I think he's looking at all his options. So like I can understand like when our fans get upset about the Blau hire, I can understand why because there's better options out there, but you want us to wait for Mike McDaniel. So you want us to wait possibly 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks to find an OC. He got options upon options upon options. So you're Dan Quinn, you're saying, hey, I really want Mike McDaniel here. But time is of the essence at the same time. You don't want to lose out on other candidates because you eyed this one guy for 3 weeks and then you don't even get him. Now you got to settle for average at best. So he said, hey, I'm just going to go with the guy that's been working with Jaden, close with him. He's trying to build his own offensive tree, in-house. I can respect that. It just has to work. And if it doesn't work, you're fired. If it does work, we look like genius. He looks like a genius. But then again, that can come back to bite you because let's say David Blau is really good. Now he's going to be getting head coaching opportunities. And it's going to give me It's gonna hurt for him to leave if he does well with Jaden calling plays. But like I said before, I can understand why they took that route. Mike McDaniel got plenty of options, a lot of options, like at least over 6, 7 options. Even with leading into the DC hire, even with Flores got a lot of options. He could be a head coach in Pittsburgh. He could be a head coach
Yeah.
somewhere else. He could be a DC here. But if he's gonna be a DC here, you're gonna have to give him a lot of money. I'll tell you that right now. And all the guys out there, they have a relationship with Quinn. So I truly believe, hopefully, he does this where he just whatever he hires as the DC, just let them do their thing. Let them do their thing. Try to trust the process, especially if it's and if it works, trust the process. Now we good. So Flores is the main target. Um, Flores is the main target, but you got to look at Carl Scott, DB coach for Seattle. I don't think we interviewed Jim Schwartz yet. We interviewed Patrick Graham. Um, Raheem Morris is. We didn't even request for an interview with him. We didn't even interview him.
So I actually found out some things a little bit about Raheem Morris that we're going to get into. So what I want to do is we're going to look at each candidate, right? We're going to talk about, their philosophy, what fronts they use, um do they fit what we want to do? What are the concerns with these candidates and stuff? I think this exercise is going to be good for us cuz we can kind of go back and forth and see what do we think is actually the best fit and probably one of these guys. Because more than likely from this list, one of these guys will be the defense coordinator for the Commanders. Now, when will they become the defense coordinator? I have no clue because I think we're still in the process of waiting. I also think how I want to say this. I also think they have to realize they have to hit on this hire because getting your defensive coordinator and getting wherever system is in potentially I mean who's to say they might make changes on some of the assistant staff. Could be a new D line coach coming in, like it could be moving parts coming in potentially with a new DC, like you get what I'm saying. And you have to make sure this is the right thing you are doing for your organization and this team. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of these candidates and stuff, man. But Radar had a question. He said, "Do you think that the type of defensive coordinator we may hire may hint to what direction we may go in free agency and draft?"
Yeah, yeah, for
And
sure.
I think so as well because players follow coaches, and it goes all the way back from Pee Wee football, goes from JV, goes to varsity, it goes to college D1, D2. Uh, it happens everywhere, and we have seen some players that's formed a relationship with their coaches come over and they have the same success. For example, Mike Vrabel goes to New England. Now, of course, he played for New England, so stuff like that. But because of his pedigree, because of the relationship he built, there were a couple guys from the Tennessee Titans that left Tennessee to sign with the New England Patriots. A Jack Gidden, uh, Landry, the edge rusher, he signed with them. The coaching staff follows their guy that they advocate for. So I think that's very important. Even it could be somebody that you actually didn't coach, but you have formed a relationship somewhere between the combine a couple years ago, or you guys crossed paths at some point. That stuff actually matters when these players are looking at not only just for the money, but who is over there that's going to get the best out of you. And a lot of these young guys, typically they don't have the hot start they want in their career, but they know somebody that feels like they can get them where they is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll provide another example. Caleb Chase on. He was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the first round. He was initially a bust his entire time in the league. It wasn't until somebody finds a role for him and the system that was perfect for his skill set and which has elevated his play. And now you see Caleb Chase on making plays for the New England Patriots, and he's looking for a big payday. And I think when you look at stuff like that, that matters for a lot of these players. So we got a lot of candidates that we'll probably go through tonight, but I think it's very worth the wait. So let's go ahead and get started with some of these candidates that we have seen so far. So we're going to exclude Dan Quinn, obviously, because he's trying to become the CEO. Let's start with the hottest name on the list, Caleb. It's going to be Brian Flores, right? Flores, literally the highest upside out of all the defensive coordinators on this list. Well, actually, scratch that. The highest resume anybody on this list. To be very quite fair, not saying everybody else doesn't have a resume, but when you talk about Brian Flores, we talk about aggression. We talk about these hybrid multiple fronts. It can be odd, it can be even. We can talk about these man heavy things they do with simulated pressure. The whole point of his defense is to bring confusion, and I love defenses that confuses quarterbacks, that put them in what and make their life very, very difficult. And that's what Brian Flores does. And even with the talent that he has had, sometimes he doesn't have the highest tier of talent, but he gets the most out of the guys that he have. And he creates a very solid defense. Now, what comes also understanding this, we also know he's from that / Belichick tree. So what he's teaching is very complex. It takes a lot of studying. It takes a lot of mental on these players. Like, you have to know where you're supposed to be. You have to know your assignment. And that's for every defense. But when you're talking about an aggressive defensive coordinator like Brian Flores, he's very detail oriented. And that's the type of guy that automatically, we know from watching time for Dan Quinn how aggressive his defenses was, even when he was in Dallas. That's probably the most aggressive we've seen his defense in terms of getting after the quarterback and making plays with the football in the hand. Brian Flores is one of those guys that is all about aggression.
He speeds up the processing time for quarterbacks. Blitzes heavy. Plays man. Plays some zone. Mixes it up a little bit. Takeaways. He values takeaways. He was top 10 in takeaways twice in back-to-back years. 2020 to 2021, 2024 to 2025. He values taking the ball away. Points allowed. It's been good basically the last 5 years. 7th this year, 5th last year, 13th in 2023, 8th 2020, 2021, 10th 2020. He is one of the best defensive minds out there. Like you said, he can get the most with the guys that you have. A Trey Amos, a Mikey, he'll find a role for them. Like you said, he'll make it work. You can give him a couple of guys. He's like, okay, I may need this, and that, but I can make this work. And I've said before multiple times, we need a defensive coordinator that can raise the floor of what we have now. Everything starts with the coaching. Everything starts with the defensive coach. You can have all the talent in the world, but if your coaching is ass, it doesn't matter. There's a team like that in our division. The Giants have talent on defense. They actually their front seven is actually pretty daggone good. It's pretty solid. You got Bill Carter, Dexter Lawrence. You got the rookie they just drafted last year. You got Brian Burns, Bobby Okereke. Michael McFadden's a decent player. The secondary is it's all right. But they got talent on that team, but Shane Bowen is bad. So like we need a coach that can develop these guys and raise their game up a little bit. Now, when you start adding guys like a pass rusher you can get in a draft, or a shutdown corner, a number one corner that you can get, or a middle linebacker that has an IQ that can cover from sideline to sideline. Um, when you got a D tackle that can just fill up space and he can be a wrecking ball in the interior of the offensive line. Now, when you start adding guys like that, along with what we have with Brian Flores, my defense is set. It's set. Now, all I need is my offense is to put up some points. That's all I need. Brian Flores is gonna handle the rest on defense. He gonna handle the rest. So, but that's the dream hire. That's what everybody wants. And if we get that, that's going to change the trajectory of not only the team moving forward, or not just the defense, but just the team moving forward. And you're going to put your divisional opponents on notice and say, hey, yeah, our defense is going to be better this year. We may not have an elite defense, but we're going to be better, and we're going to take the ball away for sure. So that would help us a lot, especially when you got these receivers in our division and some of these running backs, and you got John Harbaugh coming and coaching the Giants. He's not a defensive mind. He's like a CEO type of guy too, but he's going to get some guys that are going to follow him as well. So we need to put a stamp on something this offseason and say, hey, we coming back. We had a bad year, but we coming back. So you getting Brian Flores, that will put a statement on that, in my opinion. So that's the dream hire, man. You get Brian Flores, DT, ain't nobody can tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing this offseason. Because he will make our defense better. He will make our defense better.
I agree. I would just love to see, and this goes for all the coordinator candidates. They have to invest for this coordinator that comes in to get the defense to be on one accord. And Brian Flores is the guy that would be the splash hire for DQ. Just typically in the same way how we had Cliff Kingsbury as a splash hire on offense. Now let's go ahead and look at some of the other candidates that has been up here. So another guy that has had some history as well in the league is Jonathan Gannon. So Jonathan Gannon, he was the former Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator. I believe during the first 2 years, I'll say, under Nick Sirianni. The 2022 team was absolutely insane. They led the league in sacks. All I believe all 4 players had 10 plus sacks, which is absolutely insane. I'm gonna have to go back and look. You might have to go and look that up and see if I'm quoting that correctly. Like I think at least all 4 starting defensive linemen had like 10 sacks, bro. Like that defense was crazy. So his defense is very big on first they use multiple fronts as well. Now I think he's a little bit the opposite of the aggressive coordinator. He's more of a guy that you dink and dunk. He lets you drive downfield, forces patience, bend but don't break defense. That's typically what we've been playing with the past couple of years, and it has not been good because our bend but don't break is literally you bend is eventually going to break after one play. What do you think about Jonathan Gannon potentially? Because I know a lot of people. I was at 60%. I'll be honest. I was at 60% about him last week, but the way it has been looking with some of the other guys that I have looked at,
You don't
um,
want him. Yeah, you don't want him
it's not
anymore.
that I don't want to. I just don't see him coming over here now. I feel like he doesn't fit what we want to do. And I watched John Collins' podcast the other day, yeah, and the other guy that we're going to talk about, he says these two don't necessarily fit. So I don't know if this entirely knocks them out of.
You talking about the Greg Williams one?
No, this was not the Greg. I haven't watched the Greg Williams one.
Yeah,
This,
that was
I
pretty
think this.
good. That one's pretty good
I've been
though.
trying to catch up on the podcast and stuff, bro. But he mentioned Gannon and Graham were two guys that doesn't fit aggressiveness when it comes to what this team wants to do. They don't fit attacking defenses, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So I still think Gannon is a good coordinator, but I also think he's the type of guy where you have to have the resources around him
he
for the
does.
defenses to work.
He does.
And we're not there clearly now. I mean, maybe free agency, if they make a bunch of key moves at certain spots and they hit the draft, and we can see something different. But when he left Philadelphia, and you see the defenses in Arizona, they it was a complete 9-day difference for Jonathan Gannon.
Mm. I don't want him. I don't think he's bad. I just I want a defensive coordinator that can make something shake with what we got a little bit. You know, um, that 2022 defense in Philly was insane. It's pretty good. It's pretty daggone good. They were eighth in points, fifth in takeaways, and they were second in yards. They didn't allow a lot of yards. Rushing defense, they were above average. Passing defense, they were one of the best. They were number one in yards, 10th in touchdowns allowed, um, fifth in interceptions. So, but you got guys like Darius Slay was on that team when he was on the downward. He was still really good, but that's after that year he started declining. So when you got a Brandon Graham, when you got a Josh Sweat, when you got a
They had 4 dudes with 10 plus sacks.
yeah, yeah,
Hassan
yeah,
Reddick had 16.
yeah, yeah. I forgot who the other corner was and the other safeties were.
Okay, so I think they had Blankenship, Slay, Johnson.
Johnson?
Did they had what's our guy? James Bradbury? Bradbury was on the opposite side?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was. Yeah,
And
he was.
Maddox. They had Maddox
Oh
too.
yeah, and they had Chauncey Garner Johnson.
With Fletcher Cox and a young Milton Williams.
Mm-hmm. And rookie Jordan Davis. And they had Kaiser White too. Josh Jobe. N'Kobe Dean was on that team. That was rookie
So they
N'Kobe Dean.
had dudes.
Yeah.
They had dudes on that defense. And I understand, he went to Arizona, rebuild automatically. Just you really didn't really see that defense materialize. Now I will say, from looking at this past year, I can say they had a couple of young guys that actually absolutely shine on that Cardinals defense. It's Walter Nolan, Denzel Burke, and Will Johnson, just to name a couple.
And
Those guys
Max
absolutely.
Melton's a pretty solid player too. I think
Yeah.
he's a solid player.
So
They were 15th in points allowed. That was the best year, 2024 last year. They were 15th in points allowed. Um, they were 14th against the pass, again passing yards allowed, fifth in touchdowns allowed. Pretty good. Rushing defense, 20th in yards, eighth in touchdowns. So, um, then the year after that, just bad. They're just bad. Like They're not good. 29th in points allowed. It's not good. In his first year in Arizona, they were 31st. I don't know. When we requested an interview for him, there's some Philly fans on the timelines like, yeah, please hire him. I don't. He's not my preference. I'd rather have Carl Scott than him, to be honest. I feel like if you get, I'm not sure you can talk about Carl Scott more. You done the research, but um, Mike McDonald calls that defense, correct or no? But it's his scheme.
He calls the defense.
Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what they run. Is it 4-3?
Seattle
Yeah.
4-2-5.
So they run a lot of nickel.
Bro, they have one of the best nickel defenses,
Yeah, they do.
and they have the number one rush defense.
Yeah,
Like anytime you hold people to 3.7 yards and you run mainly nickel,
that's insane.
that is insane, bro.
They got the front to do it. They got the edges to do it. Nick Emenwari is a big part of that reason why they can do that because he's a hybrid safety slash linebacker. Um, their corners can tackle other than Tariq Woolen. Devin Witherspoon can tackle. Josh Jobe is a pretty solid corner that they have, and they got the free safety. What's his name? He used to play for the Giants.
Love, Julian Love.
Yeah, Julian Love. Julian Love's a solid player. But the way that Seahawks secondary is really good, man. They're good. They got some good players on that damn team. Um, so I wouldn't be opposed to Carl Scott and what he does. Um, right now, like this year, I'm looking at the rankings right now. They're third in rushing yards allowed, second in touchdowns rushing allowed.
Mm.
Against the pass, which Mike McDonald has to say in that, but Carl Scott is the DB coach. Seventh in touchdowns allowed, fifth in interceptions, 10th in yards allowed, passing wise. Defense overall, number one in points, six in yards, six in takeaways, six in yards. Bro, oh my goodness. I want that so bad. I need that. I need that, man. Now Carl Scott may not. Carl Scott may not. It may not be on that same level as he got in Seattle, but like you said before, coaches bring in players. You get Carl Scott, you can possibly get Tariq Woolen here, and that can upgrade our secondary. You got a guy that's what 6'4", 6'3". He got speed. I think he's more of a zone corner than a man corner. But there's you can run a defense where you're playing zone on one side and man on one side. So that's not a big issue for me, even though my preference is for me, DT, I want to play straight man.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play man, mano y mano. We're gonna press you, we're gonna get in your face, and we're gonna play physical. And we're gonna tackle. Um, they do that over there in Seattle. Devin Witherspoon does that. He can play man. He can play zone. And he'll knock some sense into you at the same time. He's one of my favorite players in that draft. That Devin Witherspoon pick. I love that.
So you know what? You already jumped in. Let's go ahead and talk about Carl Scott, man. We'll answer your question. What? What? Yo, it's breaking news. They really hired Mike McDaniel. Yo,
As their OC.
as the OC. Yo, on the podcast. Wow.
Well, here we go.
He took that over a head coaching too, by the way. Ravens job, Bills job.
That's good for Herbert. Her
Oh yeah, absolutely. Skill position wise, I mean they're probably going to be
they're going to
absolutely
be.
better. Run game will be get a boost. My,
He's Mike. They had Greg Roman. He's specifically a run game. I think he's great when it comes to the run scheme. But the thing with Greg Roman, his offenses, and he did it with the Ravens, he did it with the Niners. They're good for like the first 2 years, and then they just fall off a cliff. It's not sustainable. What Greg Roman does isn't sustainable, in my opinion, and the history shows that when you look at his coaching history. Mike McDaniel is going to give you a good run game, a good to great run game. He's going to give you great passing concepts. He can put you in the center a little bit. He's going to put you in shotgun. He's going to run a lot of motion, a lot of eye candy.
wow, wow, that's okay. That's going to be good. But okay, let's get back to Carl Scott. Let's go ahead, Carl Scott. So Carl Scott, right? How he started, he came from Alabama. He was under Nick Saban. I also believe, make sure I get this right, 2020, 2021, he was on the Minnesota Vikings coaching staff as a quality control guy. He was under Mike Zimmer, who's also have a strong defensive background. And, currently right now, he's been on that Seattle team. He was under Pete Carroll and then transitioned to Mike McDonald. So he has been under 4 strong defensive minded coaches, Caleb.
And he's seen a lot of different schemes.
And a lot of different schemes. When I say this, it sounds very similar to somebody we just hired. Or actually, someone we just promoted. That sounds like David Blau. David Blau has been under Ben Johnson. He's been under KOC. And he's also played under Cliff Kingsbury. So he's been in multiple systems. Carl Scott has coached and been with coaches with different multiple systems. And I can see the huge benefits with this. This guy, he's been everywhere. He has developed these young DBs we've seen. Witherspoon, Kobe Bryant, Tralik Woolen, just to name a few from what we've seen with the Seattle defense, and Nick Iwunnori. Like, he's working close with these guys one-on-one. And for a defensive back coach, the one thing they're very strict on is discipline and structure in the defensive backfield. Some guys tend to love to work from the back all the way to the front, and that can help a defensive front. Now, him being on a McDonald is absolutely good because you want to know why? McDonald is a very aggressive defensive play caller. We seen they beat the dog mess out of the 49ers. So this is somebody that has some strong upside. Now, of course, the thing will be he has not called plays before. The experience factor will be a key thing. But what we know is, for what we've seen, detail orientation, the IQ is there, and the player development is there. From what I hear from around people and stuff, say he's a strong teacher. Him coaching in college is also a good thing too, because he knows some of these younger guys. He knows who can fit what they want to do. But I think honestly though, he's going to be another risk hire too. Just keeping it real. But if there's one person I feel like I would take a risk on, it would be him, because of the amount of people he's been under. Like Caleb, you're an Alabama fan. Nick Saban don't play when it comes to detail orientation. I mean, he literally got a documentary. I can't wait to see that. Mike Zimmer Okay, we see Mike Zimmer. It could be based on the personnel, but Mike Zimmer is also a guy who's very big on his defenses and how he coaches them. Then going from Pete Carroll, who's historically had defenses, who also had Dan Quinn as his defensive coordinator at one point. So that's another key thing people got to realize. And Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald came to the team and still kept him on the squad, on the coaching staff. So that should say something for the resume he has built in this league. Um, I definitely have put him up there very high. I will be concerned about what his fronts will look like. Will it be very similar to what we see with what Seattle has done? You know, Seattle runs multiple fronts. You know, in the modern NFL, it's going to be 4-2-5. You know, those things are going to be questioned and going to be interesting in what they want to do. But Carl Scott is somebody that, for the past couple of days, I have started to be like, okay, I can see why they're interested in
him. I'm open to it. Yeah. How old is he?
Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick.
Curious. Not that it matters.
I think he's like 40. He's 40 years old. He's 40.
I'm not opposed to bringing him in. And I've said before, if I want a defensive coordinator that comes from the Broncos tree, the Texans tree, Seahawks tree, Patriots, any defense that's top 10 this year, give me somebody that contributed with that squad, and he's one of them. I'm not opposed to it. He never called plays before, right? But I will say our DB room will get better, I think, because he's seen what he did with the guys that he got now.
I agree.
They're top 10 in interceptions, so he doing something right over there with them.
I will be strongly open to Carl Scott getting an opportunity to be the next defensive coordinator. Now the next couple of candidates, Raheem Morris. Let's have the Raheem Morris discussion. So,
oh boy.
So Raheem Morris, he was here at one point. I can't remember what year he was. Was it like when Gruden was here? I think he was here when Gruden was here.
Shanahan.
Sure?
Shanahan.
I
think he was here with Shanahan. He was here in 2012. I'll tell you that. He was.
Oh, I'm not looking at that. I'm putting it in my head like, dang, I don't remember him being here. Okay, I do now. I do. Yep. So, Raheem Morris, he has ties with organizations. He just finished his second stint as a head coach. He got fired from Atlanta. They did win the last 4 games before he left in Atlanta. Now, what do we know about him as a defensive-minded coach? He's always been a defensive-minded coach, specifically working with the secondary. He's another guy that has experience working in the secondary. You know, he is somebody that has the charisma that can match with these players. He's the definition of a player's coach. He's a guy that you can laugh with, relate to. He comes from that Tampa Bay scheme. 2007. Dang, who was the head coach of 2007 Buccaneers? Was it Gruden? No, Gruden was gone by now. Gruden was there like 2002. Dang, I'm gonna have to get back in the archives, bro. Dang.
Raheem, I think Raheem has always worked with. That Rams defense was solid. It was okay, but he had Aaron Donald on that team.
Yeah, he had the talent. It's very similar to us when we talk about Gannon. Like Gannon had a good product, but a lot of that was from Howie assembled the roster. And when Raheem Morris came to the Chargers, Some of those teams still wasn't good, but he had an Aaron Donald until that Super Bowl year where they were absolutely dynamic. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to go back and double check. It is to my understanding that even though Jeff Ulbrich came over and they had the defense they had, to my knowledge, Raheem still had a hand in with that defense. He was still in the meeting rooms. He still had conversations about some of the things they want to do. And this Atlanta defense went from, very average to one of the best. Now, of course, that's also because they finally hit the elephant in the room. We're like, hey, can we get some pass rushers? They got pass rushers, and they had a career high they had a franchise high of sacks with James Pierce leading the way and Jalen Walker. And him and DQ have crossed paths before, in terms of being defensive coordinators. Also as the head coach of Atlanta from 2015 to 2020. The concerns I have with Raheem Morris is the last couple of years as a defensive coordinator, the product has not been good outside the Super Bowl year. And we already don't have a star guy on the defense.
No, we don't.
We don't have a star guy on the defense. So how will he be if he comes over here? But that's also to say for a lot of the guys. But we know for some of them, they can make it work. Can Raheem Morris make it work with what we have over here? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, that's one thing I question with same thing with Jonathan Gannon with the time that we got because it's going to be hard for us to rebuild this. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be hard, but it's going to take. We're missing some things on this defensive unit. Can Raheem Morris make something shake without having a lot of talent? I don't know, and I don't think so really. Even with the Falcons, they got more talent than us. You got Xavier Watts, you got AJ Terrell, you got um, uh, James Pierce Jr., Jalen Walker, um, Billy Bowman. You got guys that can. You got young guys on that squad that can play defense. Um, we don't have that right now. I mean, I think Trey Amos is going to be a pretty good player for us. I think Johnny Newton needs more reps. He needs to be putting in maybe he needs to be used differently and put in a different scheme. Mikey, yes, he has a lot of interceptions and turnovers. He forces turnovers for us, but coverage wise, he is not the best. You need to do something with that. Safeties. We don't have that type of talent he had in Atlanta. I don't I don't want him. Like I said before, I prefer a guy that can. I don't know if Raheem or Jonathan Gannon can raise the floor with what we have, seeing what they did in other places. Jonathan Gannon didn't have a lot of defensive talent over there, and their defense wasn't good. Some coaches need the talent, and that's okay. That's okay. If you need the talent as a coach, you still got to put these players in the best position to succeed. But I just don't. I don't know if they can do what I need them to do defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's better than what we've had. I tell you that. But I don't want to. I'm trying to get the best of the best. Damn it! But I just need. I need a coach that's a floor raiser. That's what I need. We may not have the talent now. We're gonna get something. Maybe in another year, it's gonna be way much better. I mean, it could be top 10 next year if things go the way they're supposed to go. You get a Brian Flores, our defense is gonna be top 15. You get a Carl Scott, we don't know how he's going to call plays. We know the system he may run, but it's all about having certain plays calling sequences, down and distance. The when you have to blitz, when you should blitz. Time of possession is crucial, or like making these certain adjustments. How do they adjust? We don't know what Carl Scott is going to do in that aspect. It's a refreshing face for us, but we just don't know how he's going to coach the team, like when the games are being played. But all four of these candidates, they're better than Joe Witt. They're better.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want us to hire the latter. It's Brian Flores, Carl Scott, and I want either one of those two. Jonathan Gannon, Raheem, cool. It's all right. It'll be better next year, hopefully. But those aren't the guys I'm really interested in. But, we didn't even interview Schwartz. So I'm surprised we didn't do that. But he may stay. He stayed, right?
It's a possibility he might stay.
Yeah. So that's probably why they're not even touching him. Pause. Like that's probably why they're not even talking to him, because they probably know he's going to stay.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Mike McDaniel. They didn't even interview a request for him because they know he got options, plenty of options. So, and we're probably not even top 5 on that option. Yeah, the relationship is there; they're close. But again, at the end of the day, this is what's best for you. What's more suitable and sustainable for you. So that's what Mike McDaniel chose. And Brian Flores could do the same thing. He could be a head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He could do that. Then Carl Scott, he may want to stay. You don't know, but I think we may have a chance. We may have a better chance of getting Carl Scott, Jonathan Gannon, and Raheem Morris over Brian Flores, just because of what's available out there. Just because of what's available. And then you got the Bills head coaching just opened up. Like you said before, Brian Flores could possibly want to go there. I got a quarterback. I got a solid run game. The OC's already there. I can work with Joe Brady. On defense, we gonna create turnovers for Josh Allen. Even though he may get the ball away again, but we're going to create turnovers for them. So he got another option over there. So, I mean, that's another thing, too. I forgot to mention that. You think Sean McDermott could be a DC? Or I think he'd be a head coach.
My joke was he's from the Ron tree.
Okay, he's better than
Yeah. Okay.
he is.
Okay.
Did you see the rankings? He's better. You think Sean McDermott is bad or something?
I think his defense is choked at playoffs, so I'll be in the catchwell right now.
I've seen Josh Allen choke in playoffs.
Yeah, well, I don't see nobody else talking about him choking the playoffs.
Well, he's white, so.
No, that's nasty. You saying that on live. But anyway,
look at this, bro. Sean McDermott. Like, bro, like his defense.
I think he want to be a head coach still, though, bro. Like he built his resume too much to go back to a DC. In my
his defense was top 15, damn near top 15 since 2019. The worst was 16th, and that's better than what we've had. That's points allowed. This year was 12th. Last year 11th. 2023 4th. Second 2022. Number 1 2021. And he's seen it all. I think he want to be a head coach, but damn, that would be.
He built his resume too good to be.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
But that would be I would love that. If that possibly could happen, I would love that. I'd love that. Sean McDermott as a DC, the floor is raised already. His defense was what? 12th this year in points allowed, and you don't got no crazy talent on defense. They got Joey Bosa. They got an injury-prone Joey Bosa. They got Christian Benford, and they got Maxwell Harrison, but he's hurt. Cole Bishop's their safety. Matt Milano he had a good Mike linebacker. The D tackle has been solid. Ed Oliver. They got the rookie they just drafted from Kentucky, Dion Walker. Um, he'll raise the floor of our defense too. Get him a couple of pieces. I got you. This unit gonna be top 15. I need a floor raiser, like I said, DT. I need a floor raiser for this defense. Floor raiser. Floor raiser. That's what I need. That's what I need. And he does that. He does that.
I got you, bro. Let me see. On the list, we got three more names up here that we have looked at. Joe Cullen. He's the chief defensive line coach, and he was the former Jags defensive coordinator, I believe, when Urban Meyer was the head coach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't really know a lot about him.
Now, I will say this, DT. I will say this. When that interview request came up, Chris Jones was,
Like, oh,
yeah.
yeah, I do remember
So
that.
that's a good thing. Um, and I spoke to one Chiefs fan, and they said they would be upset if he left. So he's been under what?
Mm.
What's his name?
So,
Steve Spagnuolo. He's been under Steve Spagnuolo for years, for a couple of years. He worked with Chris Jones.
oh, he came from Baltimore too.
He did?
Yeah, multiple stints with the Ravens.
So that's good. Um, I don't know too much about him.
He was the defensive line coach of Richmond. He was the defensive line coach at LSU. Almost everywhere he's been a defensive line coach. Shoot, he coached Dominic Sue at one point.
But the Lions or the Rams?
The Lions.
So he's worked. He's worked with. Yeah, he's
2016 to 20, he was the defensive line coach for the Baltimore Ravens. 2021, he was named defensive coordinator. Then after his one stint as DC, he went to Kansas City to coach 2022 to currently now.
Hmm. He's been under Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo loves running man. He loves blitzing. He loves doing he's another great defensive mind. He loves doing some crazy shit on defense, rotating safeties while blitzing.
Who you mentioned?
I just said he worked under Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so Steve Spagnuolo's a bright defensive mind. He's seen it all. He's won what, 4 Super Bowls?
He's worked with Lovie Smith.
Mm. Okay.
I see some strong accolades with him. Now the question is, so what it seems like he is a defensive lineman developer. He gets the most out of his defensive line, and I think that hits me because it's like he's not the strongest. He's not the best overall defensive lineman in the room, but I still think Johnny Newton has some talent that can be tapped. I do wonder about the secondary though, because it's like, yeah, it's kind of like this and that. Like you could be a good secondary coach, but we gotta wonder about what your front seven is gonna look like. But if you're a good defensive line coach or what's your secondary gonna be like? Do you need a strong secondary to help with the D line? Like how does that coordinate? Because everything I see, it looks good on defensive front wise, but that secondary is going to be key as well. You're going to need some strong guys to hold up on the back end, and right now we don't have typically strong guys that can hold up in the back end.
Yeah. No, we
He
don't.
does run multiple fronts, so that's also good as well.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so he's
How?
one that I probably didn't really know a lot. The next one is Patrick Graham. He was the first one we interviewed. Um, I completely forgot he was the defensive coordinator when the Giants went to the playoffs with Daniel Jones.
Oh, Patrick Graham.
Yeah,
He's okay.
I think he's okay too. He did cross paths with Adam Peters when he was scouting. He was the defensive line coach. He was the linebacker coach. He was defensive assistant. He was multiple spots at New England. Then he goes to the Giants. 2016, 2017, defensive line coach. Goes to Green Bay. He was linebacker coach, run game coordinator.
Bro.
2019, he was the defensive coordinator.
His rankings aren't good, man.
Yeah. 2020, 2021, he was assistant head coach and defensive coordinator. Oh wait, he wasn't. 2022. 2022 was my boy. What's his name? What's the guy from the Giants? Dabo got rid of him because they didn't see eye to eye. Martindale.
Oh,
22 was Martindale.
Link, yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
He's not good, bro. I'm looking at this right now. He's not good. He's not good. 25th, 9th, 26th, 23rd, 9th. No, bro. He's not good.
ninth. You said ninth twice.
Yeah, but it's too much.
Up
Like,
and down.
yeah,
I
like
mean, I get that, but shoot, he had ninth twice.
I'm not moved. I'm not moved by that.
Bet
I'm not.
moving, nigga.
What
Bet
you
you're
say?
not moving,
I'm not moved, bro. Like, points allowed 25th back to back years, then 9th for 2023 with the Raiders. Cool. 26 with the Raiders before the first year as a DC, 23rd his last year, 9th his second year, and 32nd his first year. This ain't good. And then his rushing defense, touchdowns is average all around. 30th this year, 15th last year, 17th, 2023, cool. 25th, 2022, 14th, 2021, 10th, 2020, 21st, 2019. His yards is for rushing allowed is up and down as well. The passing defense, up and down. He doesn't generate a lot of turnovers at all. At all. Yards allowed. Now, his passing defense is pretty solid. Solid. 14th, 15th, 12th, 29th, 15th, 16th, 26th. That's pretty solid. And yards allowed, passing wise. Touchdowns, average. Average all around. He had top 10 twice. No, top 10 three times. Not 2020 year, really don't. That was that COVID year. Everybody in our division was mid. Everybody was mid that year. But the Giants had a really good defense that year in 2020. No, I'm good. I'm good, man. No, scratch him off. I'd rather have Raheem and Gannon over him, and I don't want Raheem or Gannon like that.
Nasty, bro.
It's not, man.
So nasty, bro. Oh my
It's
god.
not. It's not good. He worked with the Patriots. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, but not every. Never mind.
Mm.
Never mind, because you want it. You want it, Patricia.
I do. I do. And his history as a defensive coordinator is better than probably he's not better than Flores in my opinion, but it's like better than the other four guys you mentioned. He is. People want people want Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs. Why not get the guy who coaches them and puts them in the best position to succeed? Why not get him? It's another thing too. You get a Caleb Downs, and then you got Matt Patricia calling your plays. He gonna make him flourish. He gonna put him everywhere. Arvell Reese, same thing. Rush the passer. Stop the run. I don't see no issue with that. I'd rather have Matt Patricia than Patrick Graham and Gannon and Raheem. Man, laughing at. All right.
All right. I think he's the last one up here. The last guy I have up here is Denard Wilson. Denard Wilson came from the Baltimore Tree. He's also from the DMV.
What's his name?
Denard Wilson. He's from Upper Marlboro. He went to DeMatha.
Fire. How you spell his name?
Dennard. Oh, we signed him. Oh, he played for us. They didn't know that. Oh, he spent time with practice squad. That's why I ain't heard of him.
That Titans defense is ass.
Well, but hang on though. Hang on. I knew you were going to say that. But let's look at it like this. 2020. Remember last year when we were looking up to this Titans game? The Titans had statistically the number 2 ranked defense when he was the defensive coordinator. However, their offense was so putrid in terms of time of possession and giving them in bad spots. And that's with the numbers. We always wondered, well, they had the number 2 defense. Why they kept giving up 30 and 40 points a game? Like, go look at the numbers, bro. He had that unit playing.
They're 30th in point. Yeah, they're 30th in points allowed. Yards allowed on defense. His first year coaching they were second in yards allowed. They were second. Rushing touchdowns, they were bottom 10. Passing defense, yards allowed, they were second. Touchdowns allowed, 19th. Interceptions, 19th. So when you look at Tennessee is a team where it's like, who they got? Snead, Jeffrey Simmons. Who else? I mean, they don't got a lot of.
They don't have a lot of talent, but Jeffrey Simmons became an All-Pro under him.
Now, was that because of him or Jeffrey Simmons? Is Jeffrey Simmons just that guy, or
has Jeffrey Simmons ever became an All-Pro?
I don't know. I'm not. I just know that. I just know he's good. That's the only thing I know about Jeffrey Simmons. But
he was first team All-Pro in 2025. He was 2-time second team All-Pro 21 and 22. And then even when I look at his other stops, he was also on that Philly team that went to the Super Bowl. Had the number 1 passing defense, finished number 2. James Bradbury, second team All-Pro. Darius Slay, 5th-year Pro Bowl. C.J. Gardner-Johnson led the league in interceptions. When he was with the Jets, Jamal Adams, when he was actually good.
So it seems like, okay. I mean, I don't know, man. I can't judge them either. Tennessee don't got anything. Only got like 2 players, and their offense was bad this year.
It's been bad the past couple years.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know too much about him.
And I did watch a podcast this morning, and of course, you remember the old general manager for the Titans. He got fired before
Yeah.
they got Mike Morzingi. You know, I mean, of course, you know, he worked with him, but he did advocate it for Denard Wilson for him to get looked at by the Commanders when they did with the first pick episode. Well, of course, I knew, you know, from a bias standpoint, he worked with him. But when I looked him up, I was like, okay, so he's worked with talented players. Now, can we get him some talented players? That's gonna be key. I mean, he was part of that Eagles team we talked about with Jonathan Gannon. So he worked with Jonathan Gannon. That secondary was elite that year. The 2023 Ravens defense. That's when they drafted Kyle Hamilton. They pushed him all over the place. That defense was elite. And despite the fact that was a horrible Titans team, we beat the brakes off of them that year. He was still able to have statistically a top 5 defense, but they just had a completely bad team. So I wonder what it would be if that Titans team was at least average. How good that defense actually is when they're not given a short field majority of the time.
Yeah.
And I think wasn't Will Levis the quarterback?
I
remember we played them, bro. I was like, dang, we boat racing these dudes.
Yeah, he's bad. I'm open to him. I'm open. I'm open to it. I'm open to it. So how would you rank the defensive coordinators and based on what you want in order? Like if one doesn't get hired, then it's this guy. If he gets hired, then it's this guy, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm. So how I'll rank it is this. Number one, I think we both will agree Flores is the guy we really want. Number two, I'm going to say Carl Scott based off of the potential and who he has been around. Number three, I think I'm off of Gannon because I think Gannon might be the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, honestly.
I think the only bright side of Gannon is that he knows our division.
Okay, that's true. That's very true. Glad you said that. I'm off on him though right now because I felt like there's too much notion going on. So I'm going to say I would rather have Denard Wilson than I have Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris, it's going to be like what people talk about with Dan Quinn. Raheem Morris will be the last option if there's nobody else left. Like I feel like it should be Flores, Scott, Wilson, Morris. That's my list.
Okay. I'll say Flores, Scott. I don't want Gannon at all, man. I probably had the same list as you. When I think about it, the more I think about it, this DC.
I don't want Graham.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I don't. The Cohen guy intrigued me a bit. I just don't know what his secondary would look like. I think he needs a strong DB coach, and we gotta get some strong DBs in here because I feel like he could coach the D lineup, but he's gonna need He's gonna need a strong secondary.
The Bears just got eliminated from the playoffs. Al Harris.
I know. I forgot about him. Will he be good with the lateral move, or are you talking about him as DC?
DC.
Okay, so the reason why I'm
Hey,
hesitating,
bruh.
because it's like, I mean, he's kind of in the same category as like Carl Scott, though. Like he has worked with people,
The
but
Bear.
we also clearly see wherever Al Harris goes, their team the turnovers pick up. But I think the other part is like, I just don't want turnovers. I want to be a stout defense that gets off the field in general, but the turnovers can just be the big
The
appetizer
icing on the
bonus.
cake. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I want to be like leading. I want to be like top 10 in pressure rates. I want to be able to like stop the run consistently. Like I'm looking for those things, and yes, Al Harris do provides that because we've seen clearly in his two stops, his secondaries have accumulated a lot of turnovers. That's something we don't do. However, he'll kind of be in the same category, just like Carl Scott, because he has never called plays. And what does your front look like? Is it going to be what you have picked up from your stops? Will it be from what you pick up from Dennis Allen and Dan Quinn, or you got your own philosophy? So we'll see. So that's where I'm at with the Al Harris. It wouldn't surprise me if his name automatically just pop up tomorrow, but I kind of want them to try to go ahead and get this DC thing squared away.
It's not. It may take another week. I'm not gonna lie. It
Ew.
may take another week, especially if they really want Carl Scott. Um, they may be waiting. They may have to wait until after the Super Bowl to get him. Um, may have to wait. Excuse me. It's it. We we may not see a DC hire until February, bro.
Ooh.
I
Are you
think
saying that because of Scott?
yeah, I think they're. But like I said, if Flores says yes, they don't hesitate. But Flores right now is looking at all his options, and Buffalo just opened up, so he got more options.
Pittsburgh there too.
Yep, they interviewed him. I think we're the only team that interviewed him for defensive coordinator.
I
I don't
believe
think
so.
I don't think he's taking a lateral move though. Deep down inside, I really think he's going to be the Steelers head coach. I really do. I really do. I think he's going to be the Steelers' next head coach. Now he got to find a quarterback. I don't know how that's going to work, but he got to find a quarterback, and he got to get. He'll probably get another offensive coordinator. Um, but like I said before, Pittsburgh or Washington. I don't blame him if he went to Pittsburgh. You get a raise, get a promotion. Now you get to tell the NFL, "Ha ha, I'm a head coach again." Um, you get to once again prove why you should not like the NFL should not have blackballed you, and that would be a great story with the Steelers. Job security. It's another thing too. Um, because if Brian Flores is going to do well here, somebody's going to try to interview him. We need to block him. And like I said, to get Brian Flores in here, I'm giving him money. I'm giving him money. He is worth the money. Give him and we'll pay you. What's the most money a coordinator makes right now? 13 mil.
Probably so.
I give him 15 mil. We need you that bad over here. I'll give him that. That's what I would tell Brian Flores. Yeah, I like this Pittsburgh head coach. Well, hey, we're going to give you 15 mil a year to coach this defense. We're going to give you a raise. And you got a solidified quarterback already.
Man, it's gonna be Oh, is this the Justin dude?
He's a Jets fan.
Don't pay him. I know. That's the dude he always DM me.
Yeah, don't pay him no mind.
He tried to slander us.
Don't pay him no mind. Don't pay him no mind. They could have got Mendoza. Now they can't get him.
I'm crying. Man. So we went through all the defensive coordinator candidates. You and me, we kind of agree with our list. Raheem Morris will be last option if needed. But looking at some of these guys, it probably will take another week to try to get this defensive coordinator thing sorted out. So hopefully we provided some context to some of these guys, how they fit, what they want to do, and clearly there's going to have to be a change with this defense, especially in year 3 under Dan Quinn. Any final words before we head out tonight, Caleb?
None, man. Just make the good hire at DC. That's it.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next week to discuss more on updates on the Commanders offseason. We're definitely going to be getting into the draft and stuff, so I want to tell people stay tuned after the Super Bowl. The Commanders draft show will be coming back live on Sundays. We're going to be discussing your favorite prospects, the prospects you haven't heard about all college football season. We'll watch college football at all, but we're going to be providing nonstop analysis on the Commander draft needs and wants this offseason. But we're also going to be up here talking about a little bit of the draft as well, with some of the prospects guys that we like. Also, we're going to do frequency spin around. We're going to try to get some guests and stuff up here and discuss more about the things we'll to help. But it is your boy DT Sensei.
Hey, what you cooking, bro?
We got Caleb in the building. The Ins and Out with D podcast. LG Live on Facebook, YouTube, and on X. See you guys next